Now, sir, if you get a chance to be a 12-year-old, which is my age, a 13-year-old, which is my age, what will you plan in your life to do and why?
Well, at uh, at at if I were your age now, then of course I would never think of going to have training at sea to be a merchant marine officer. I think I would either try to be a robotic engineer or somebody who is proficient in the internet and the IT, and then also I would make follow a profession which would be good for the poor people, if I can do that. Not necessarily a doctor, but somebody who can help the poor people. There
Yes,
are
sir.
many uh, technicians that I've come across. They went to uh, outdoors to the villages, and they studied the villagers, the farmers, and all, and the way they were being doing their work for farming and for years, and then they try to improve it with a modern way, and then they to make better for them. Yeah, yeah. I will give you one instance of I have that in my mind. You know that your mother and the women in India and also in Burma, we sweep the floor and we used to sit down on our haunches and we sweep with a broom, and that gives us a hunchback, you know. And it was for many years our women, Indian women, Burmese women, were sweeping on their hunches instead of standing up, were using a broom along the floor. But at one time, there was uh, the wife of the American ambassador, an American woman. She said, why should they do that? They should be standing up like they do in America. So she made a broom that is long, so you could stand up and sweep. So she started the revolution in India, if I remember correctly. So introduce the broom so you can stand up and then still sweep. And that way you're upright and you will not be hunchback when you're old. So that kind of technique you try and improve the poor people. And this is what I like to do. What
Yes,
I
sir.
would do if I were in your age.
Yes, sir. That is very interesting. Can you please tell me about one big regret which you feel today, which you have missed in your life?
Again, I missed your
Yeah.
question.
Can you please tell me about one big regret which you feel today, which you have missed in your life?
What I missed or what uh,
One big
can you put
regret.
in some other word?
Okay. Can you please share some one big regret which you feel today you have missed in life? One big regret
I
you
still
have in your life.
regret, yeah, that I'm sorry. Yeah, is that I missed it? Is that right? What I did is what didn't happen. Well, I'm not so sure that I regret anything. I believe I've had a full life, and whatever I've done was for the best and is according to my karma and my fate. But I believe at the same time, if you think of it, I I was working very hard up to the age of nearly 60, and I worked for the government and later for the my employer who paid me well so that I work hard. Uh, but I found that I neglected my health by doing that. So at about age of 57, I had a heart problem, and then I nearly died. So at that time, I stopped working altogether. I didn't want any stress. And then I now I get think to myself, if I looked after my health when I was younger and work less hard and then take more relax more, I would have probably been in a better shape. But that is what I regret. I suppose that I didn't take care of myself. Yeah. The other thing that I may regret is that I wanted to do be an architect when since I was young, and I went through 9 jobs, and then up to now, uh, I've never been. I've never. I still want to be an architect, but it's too late to be an architect. But that may be a regret for me. Yeah. All right. So that is my answer to you.
Yes, sir, and that was certainly interesting. Can you, so your regret was to be an architect. Well, sir, and you had a regret of like neglecting your health. So those were two regrets you had in your life. So, sir, please tell us. You have seen like industrialization, the era of industrialization to this digital era. I understand your. You also told that you were very tech savvy and have adapted yourself very nicely to new technology. You drive the best of the cars, including you are also an early adopter of Tesla. So it is very interesting. Please tell us about this and how do you keep the like curiosity so high?
I'm not quite sure about your question, but I believe you want to know how I've achieved my present situation in life. Is
No,
that right?
no, I wanted to ask how you keep your curiosity in life so high, because as you see there are many people who are not as tech savvy. If you see a normal grandfather or a grandmother these days, they do not know how to operate a smartphone or something like that. And they, so how do you remain such curious, like how curious during your lifetime?
Well, let me take a sip first. My tea. This, by the way, is a Navy cup given by the Navy, Burma Navy to me. Well, uh, I'm different to other elderly people in a way. I have been interested in gadgets since I was young. So I have always been wanting to test out anything that is new, even before that. When do you remember yourself? When did the computer was when was the computer introduced? You remember?
Well, when I was born, my father was an avid user of the computer, so I already knew computer till then. I believe computer
What did
was
he use at that time?
um,
Did he use a desktop at that time?
my father
Was he
used a
using a
laptop.
desktop?
Laptop.
Okay. Well before that, the computer was introduced by one scientist from England. I forget his name now. He's a very strange person. But he came out with a very small. Uh, it is something a little better than the calculator. It is his computer, Z computer, I think he called it. Then ever when he brought it out, he was selling it for, I think, what is it, 300 pounds or something. You can type on it, and then you can, but you cannot print out. But ever since then, I also found got myself one of these devices, and I was fooling with it. And later on, when we set up a company, we could not afford a desktop. A desktop cost $1,000, and we couldn't afford it. So we got ourselves. In those days, laptop was not yet introduced. Uh, so we had our own small computer that we had to use the tape, the magnetic tape to store the data, and we used what with an app called Framework for your adding and then your word processing. I was always interested and always doing that. So since then, I've been always following what's happening, and especially when it started with Apple and and the MS DOS. Yeah. But I didn't like the Apple because Apple was very, very expensive. Then when Android came out, I was very happy. The Android was free for everybody. And I've been an Android fan ever since then. You know? And that's how I kept up with the technology, only as a user. I'm not a programmer or anything like that. So that's how I keep myself up to date. And I also have to compete with my grandson. When I go to Australia, my grandson, as old as you, and where, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, you were saying.
My one of my third grandson, he's a IT expert. He has a company of his own, running IT. So I when I see him, I have to make sure that I understand what he's talking about. So now I'm sure next time when I go there, I'm afraid my two great grandchildren, they will be telling me where I go wrong. Uh, so they are around about, I think, 7 and 9.
Yes.
So that's how I keep up with technology.
That is very interesting, sir. Thank you for sharing that. Now, please tell us about why about why about as per your experience. Please tell us about what matters the most in life, and what message would you like to give to all youngsters out there to live happily with a strong character.
Okay, I will tell you. But first, let me ask you a question, uh, so that see if you can answer the way I think. What is most important thing in life? You tell me.
Happiness.
Great. That is right. Absolutely, 100%. Next question. How do you achieve happiness?
By doing what you want.
Okay. But you may not be able to do what you want. Then how will you get your happiness?
Oh, I then
Yeah.
then you do
Suppose you are
the
at my
thing most.
age.
Yes,
Yeah. Well, suppose
I
you
do
are
not
my
know.
age. I want to I want to run around just like you run around in the morning. I cannot run around. Huh? I want to do it. I want to be happy. So to be happy, I want to run around. I cannot do it. So what happened? Why? Where is your happiness? How do you achieve happiness? I'm asking you a question now.
You achieve happiness by doing something you love, or trying, or
Yes. All
always.
right.
Yes, that is what I believe.
Yes, I quite agree with you. But to be able to do what you want to do, you must be capable physically. If you're not capable physically, suppose your brain doesn't function well, how can you be happy, right? So
I do got to know.
I'm leading you to my answer. There, this is very important. Now I'm glad you could not answer because I also could not answer till I was 90 or 80. I realized to be happy, you must you don't have to have money in the bank, or you don't have to have people serving you, at your call. You must be healthy. Healthy. If you are healthy, you can always be happy. If you're unhealthy, you may have billions of money in the bank, but you're not going to be happy. So this is my lesson that I learned in life. To be happy, must be healthy. And to be healthy, you must make yourself healthy to follow the simple rules to be happy, to be healthy. You eat you eat normal, uh, the healthy food. You sleep. You have enough sleep. You live a quiet life, which is makes you healthy, and so you can still stay longer. So that is my lesson to everybody. Well, try and be healthy. When you are healthy, you will be happy and you can live long. And I am in that position now. But although I am now, my life is controlled by my pacemaker. I have a pacemaker that's running all the time. If that stop, I stop too. So, and luckily, I managed to put a pacemaker for the third time. I have three pacemakers in my life. For 15 years now, I've been having pacemaker. My pacemaker make sure that when my heart slow down to 60 per minute, it kicks up to keep up from 60 to 70 beats a minute. Now that is running, but you can still be healthy without pacemaker if you look after your health at your age. I did not do that. That is my mistake. That mistake is my lesson for you. Okay.
Yes, yes, sir. But can you please tell us about your favorite book and one person whom you admire the most?
I believe you asked about the book and the person that wrote the book that interested me. Is that right?
No, I am
We're talking
asking
about
about
books now.
one person and one book which you admire the most. One person and
Okay.
one
First
book.
is the book. Oh, shall we start with the book or the person? What do you
Book.
want? Book. All right. When I was your age, on the Dufferin, I somehow got uh, first in English essay, and the headmaster, who was the Oxford Don, a Punjabi from Oxford, he presented me the book as a prize. And that book was called The Ship, The Ship. And that book I read, and I was so grateful to him for showing me that book written by C.S. Forrester. He was a storyteller of sea stories. And then he wrote very, very good books about sea. So that's how I started to read books, to learn about books. But as I grew older, and there were other books. When finally at an older age, because I'm technical minded, I started reading technical thrillers written by uh, Tom Clancy. Tom Clancy is the leading technical thriller writer. He is no longer now; he's dead. But his books still are bestsellers. And the first book that he wrote was titled "The Hunt for Red October." The Hunt for Red October, and that book became a bestseller as well as made into a movie and a very good movie. And there were many other books after that were made into movies. So that's the book that I liked, and ever since then I'm a great follower of Tom Clancy. Now about the men that I admire in life. The man that I admire in life was, you may have heard of Lord Louis Mountbatten. He was Admiral Lord Louis Mountbatten, cousin to the Queen. He was also the last viceroy of India before India and Pakistan separated. But under the British, he was given the task of separating the two countries into independent, but making sure that both sides agree. So he was a good negotiator. And Mountbatten, and I've not only admire him, but his career was all Navy. And later on, during the war, he became Supreme Commander of Allied Forces, of Navy, Army, and Air Force at a young age, because he superseded the other seniors because he was brilliant. And Mr. Churchill, who was Prime Minister of England, thought that he would be the right man to be able to head this team of all the forces fighting the Japanese. And Mountbatten became Supreme Commander. And yet, in spite of being very busy, he took time at one time in Colombo when our little ship was being refitted. He came to our boat to inspect us. And we were only about 24 people. And I was the petty officer in charge of the crew. And my captain introduced me to him, and I saluted, and he looked at me, and I was only a boy of 18. And he said, "Boy, where do you come from?" I said, "Sir, I come from Rangoon." And he then patted my shoulder, and he said, "Oh, don't worry, I'll get it back for you." Very, very confidently, as if he's going to get me a bag of sweets. I'll get it back for you. Later on, after he went away, I thought to myself, this old fellow is very smart. He says he'll get Rangoon back for me, but we are doing the fighting. We will be leading the invasion of Rangoon. So that way he was very, very, he can persuade people to do things for him. So he was very, 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 outstanding for me. Later on, I met him again when he came to visit Burma after he retired to meet the old friends and so on. And I met him at a party, and I told him, "Sir," I said, "I've met you before." "Where?" And I told him, I met you in Colombo, and then you said you get Rangoon back for me." "Oh, I remember." He said, "You were at that time." So he was a remarkable man. Unfortunately, killed by insurgents, unfortunately. But he was I would say, the one I admire most.
Yes, sir. Thank you for sharing that. It was very interesting. Can you, sir, please tell us, uh, if let's imagine something, sir. Please imagine. Suppose you are like you're going to die tomorrow. Suppose this is an imaginary situation, and you're walking in
Right, right.
Australia with your like, grandchild, and you're walking, and he asks you, and like, what would be the last words would you tell him, and like tell him in one sentence about your whole life?
Well, let me start with my experience uh, in India.
What
We
would you say
we
in one
say
line? Only one line.
yes, 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 yes. But I had to tell you this, what I learned in India. We talk about dying. In India, my friend never use the word die. They say he is no more. He is no more. No, my friends always say that. I remember we don't say dying. We say you are no more. Or you're yeah. That is a very good lesson. So I would say that if my my grandson asked me the question, I would say, look, son, I said, it means that I'm no more. But I am not no more. I have gone to a better world. Take it from me that you can go to a better world or a bad world, depending on what you've done in life. You try and behave and you do good things, you go to a better world. That's the way we believe. This is the Buddhist way, and we don't have to go to church and go to the Father and say, help me, God, because God will not help you. There's no God. It's yourself. And it's what you do. You will gain or you will repent in your later life. So that would answer your question, I suppose.
Yes, sir. Um, that is very interesting, and thank you, sir, for sharing that. And well, let's wrap up this session for today because it has been very interesting to talk to you, sir, and my viewers. Thank you for watching till the end. If you haven't watched the first episode of the series, please check that out. It's in the description. The link will be in the description below. And of course, sir, thank you for coming on the show.
Okay, but let me give you the parting shot. You started this. Let me finish it, okay? Now, I told you yesterday that I was in Mahabaleshwar in Pune during when we evacuated from the DUFFERIN and we were living in the stables, right? You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. Then I met some boys from the school in Mahabaleshwar at that time, and then we were living together with them. And there's one boy, I still remember his name, about my age. His name was Raju Pati Reddy, R. Reddy, Raju Pati Reddy. And this boy actually looks like you. That the moment I see your picture, you became Raju Pati Reddy to me. That must be some kind of a karma. Perhaps he reborn. I'm not sure. So that's my parting
Yes,
shot
sir.
to you.
Yes, sir. What a coincidence. Thank you,
So
sir.
we have known each other before. Yeah.
Yes, it was very interesting to talk to you. And let's, viewers, we are going to upload the next video also very soon. So stay tuned for that also. And thank you, sir, for sharing your wisdom with us today. Thank you.
Thank
Namaskar.
you. Yes. Same to you. Namaskar. Yeah. You relax now. You had a hard day today. Yeah.